Welcome to your new home for football, where you'll get real international coverage from real football fans. We're talking Brighton, England, Birmingham, England, London, England, Glasgow, Scotland, Dublin, Ireland, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and St. Louis, Missouri. You'll get coverage from all the big time leagues. Join in on live day match watch-alongs. Enjoy live football debates. Nothing but all things football. Catch us live 8 PM UK time on Thursdays on all major platforms, or listen to us the next day on the Sports Social Podcast Network. This is Football Nation, your home for all things football. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Football Nation podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Tonight, I'm joined by three of the original team members. We've got Crazy Boom, we've got Gormy, and we've got FM King. Guys, how are you tonight? This wonderful Thursday night.
I'm good.
Fantastic.
I was going to come to you last go, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, King, how are you tonight?
Very well, thank you.
Good stuff. So tonight we've got something new tonight. So as we are the Football Nation, we do cover a lot of wide-ranging leagues around the world. So tonight we've got 6 leagues, so we're going to be covering some good games, some interesting results that we've got so far. So we've got Premier League results, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, Liga 1, and the Liga Portugal. So tonight we'll get us kicked off with Dyche Ball. Sean Dyche taking his first game against the league leaders Arsenal, where Everton ran out 1-0 winners over the Gunners. What do we think about that one? I'll go to Boom first.
It was written in the stars. The two ex-Burnley men scoring, combining to get that goal. And it was just written in the stars for Sean Dyche that Tarkowski is the one to actually put it in the net from a McNeil corner.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I just love Sean Dyche. He's just a beautiful. His press conferences are beautiful. I love his tactical analysis. Was just put the ball in their goal, stop it from going in ours. That's all you need.
What about yourself, Gormy? I know you kind of watched this one kind of late last night. So what did you think about the game in itself?
I mean, Arsenal definitely had their chances, but a majority of the time when a new manager is in charge, they do well in their first game. So, and I mean, it was also Sean Dyche. So as soon as they score, what are they going to do the rest of the game? Defend. And they did it very, very well as well. And I'm happy that it was James Tarkowski that got the goal because I liked him when he was at Burnley.
You know what you're getting with Sean Dyche is they're going to get a set piece. Yeah. They're going to probably score from the set piece, and they're going to defend for the rest of it.
And they didn't play a 4-4-2 until they went defensive. So he has grown a little bit. That's nice to see.
And I saw more fight in the Everton players than I did in the previous games. Like someone that I thought was a waste of space in all the other games was Seamus Coleman, the Irish captain. He actually looked a different person in that game against Arsenal compared to every other game I've seen him this season.
Yeah, because, I mean, when they got in that little scuffle, like, you could see Seamus was like, he was up for it. And majority of the time this season, you have not seen that from a lot of their players.
And King, what did you think about the game in a whole, basically?
Yeah, I'm trying to cast my mind back. It was the early kickoff, wasn't it? So this was the first game of the weekend I watched. So what I can remember is Arsenal started well. Everton grew into the game after the first 10 minutes. They went in there with a game plan. As Gormy said, they didn't play the 4-4-2, which everybody thought they were going to. He actually packed the midfield and played the 4-5-1 with a runner coming from midfield to help out Calvert-Lewin, which was nice to see, a bit of a tactical twist. But I was very impressed with the fight from Everton. Arsenal controlled possession. They had a lot of shots, but their shots were mainly off target. I think Everton actually had more on target than Arsenal did. It might have only been by one, but they kept Arsenal to a certain range. They were very tight in defence with their banks of 4 and 5. And they got the goal to go ahead, which I think they actually deserved. Some of their plays towards the middle to the end of the first half was very good. DCL looked a lot more lively, even though he didn't get a goal, which was nice to see. And I think maybe there's a turn on the horizon for Everton.
And it's the first time I've seen even Arteta just haul off Odegaard in recent weeks.
Yeah.
But that was it. He took off, didn't he? He took off Odegaard. He took off Partey, which I was surprised Partey started with him having an MRI scan on his ribs earlier that week. He also took off, I think, was it Martinelli?
Martinelli
around the 56th minute. And
I
he's been one of their
yeah.
best players this season. So
Yeah. I don't know why they had Odegaard on Tarkowski at the far post. That was a total mismatch.
Yeah.
They knew that set piece that is their go-to, hitting him at the far post. It hasn't worked all that often this season, but when he has a total mismatch, of course it's going to work.
Yeah.
So maybe the new revolutionary training method is to ban hats and scarves. That's what Sean Dyche has done.
I heard he did that.
So I'll ask you all this question: Do you think this result will do well for them for the rest of the season, going into the kind of later stages now, or do you think it's maybe a bit too late for them? Obviously, never had a great January transfer window. Never signed anyone. They got rejected by certain players that we've seen in the news. How do you think Dyche will galvanise? I mean, we've seen the first game. How do you think going forward for the rest of the season? Do you think they'll have enough, or do you think that was maybe just the managerial bounce, if you will?
I think they'll have enough personally. I said it in the thing when the managers were being linked. Sean Dyche would keep them up. It's a safe option that they were available at that time. He would keep them up. He will grind out results enough that you will stay in that league at this stage. Because they have the players, Everton, when people come back from injuries and they have the players to just about survive.
Garmy, what about yourself?
Yeah, I completely agree with Boom. I mean, it's Sean Dyche as well. Like he'll keep them up. He's used to having to do this, and also, I mean, he's used to having to do it with very little funds. Which if they stay up, he is going to kind of be surprised with that. Oh, I can actually go get people now that I want and to help improve and make us climb the ladder. So I think that Sean Dyche was the perfect appointment for this. There really wasn't anyone else that I think would have been able to make this work for them. And yeah, you can make the argument like it's just one game, which of course, like I'm going to say it's just one game, so we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you would think and hope that they'll stay up, because I think everyone that was in like that race of, okay, which manager is getting sacked next, I think everyone kind of knew that Sean Dyche was going to be the next manager to come and get a shot. So,
and what about you, King?
I think Saturday's performance was a starting block, and it's something to build on. And I think you will see more performances like that throughout the season, because it was a very Dyche performance. I am going to go against the grain and say that it might not be enough to keep them up, just because we are only just halfway through the season at the minute.
Yeah,
Everton are only 1 point in the relegation zone by 1 point. But you've got teams from probably 12th who are on 24 down to bottom who are on 15, who are all in the mix. So I think because there's so many teams in the mix at the minute, it's hard to say who's going to go up or down. But at the start of the season, Everton's squad was good enough to stay up, and it hasn't changed apart from Anthony Gordon going. So it's probably still good enough to stay up. But they need to start building on these results, and they need to start building on them fast, because a down spiraling results where they get 2 or 3 defeats in a row could see morale drop back down again. The fans will be back on the back, because I know it's about the owners at the minute.
Yeah.
But you never know. I just think it's too early to say, oh, yeah, they'll stay up. I wouldn't like to put a bet on it being a betting man. So, but it's a good starting block. It's a solid starting block. It can't be. I don't think any Everton fan that I spoke to over the weekend has had a bad word to say. In fact, they're all ecstatic.
And their next game is against Liverpool Monday night.
Merseyside derby.
Merseyside derby Monday night. So that'll be see how Sean Dyche goes on Monday night. And that's a nice wee segue into the next game. Wolves 3, Liverpool 0. Who am I going to go to first, I wonder? The person who's winning the Liverpool top right now.
Go on, mate. How do you feel?
When I was watching the highlights, I said to my dad, I go, I wish I had a wand from Harry Potter that could just remove the memory from my brain, because that was just abysmal to watch. Like I'm speechless for how bad we look right now, man.
You went 2-0 down like so quickly into that game.
Yeah, but I mean
Joe Matip, what is he doing for the first goal?
No, it's that. But as soon as I saw that was going to be our duo back there, I was like, yep, we're losing. There's no way that we're winning. There's no way that we're winning with those two back there. Joe Gomez, he is quality, but he is so freaking inconsistent. Joel Matip can only perform when he is on the right and Van Dijk is on the left. It's a mess right now. And when Steve and I were talking yesterday, you got players playing positions that they should not be. Yes, it is partly due to injuries, but you can only use the injury excuse for so long. You can't. People will blame Klopp. I will not blame Klopp, because Klopp is not the one out there playing. He is not the one out there not having the heart and the grit to give everything that they have, because that's not happening. And when you lose 3-0 to Wolves, who, yes, they are doing much better, it's just you don't deserve Europe when you play like that.
You're relying heavily on that kid, Bajcetic or whatever it is.
Energetic.
He's doing solid though, is the thing, but he is nowhere near the level that we need right now, and we all know that. And Naby Keita, if I see him shoot another freaking ball, I'm gonna lose it. He has no finishing ability whatsoever. But yeah, that's my.
Although with this game, according to Klopp, the third goal doesn't count because it's the first time Wolves went out of their own half in the second half.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think it was that. I think it was mainly because what's his name, Ruben Neves, didn't venture out his first in his own half of the whole game.
That's what I said. That's what he said the first time they went out at the half. It was like that doesn't count.
Darwin Nunez needs to start moving the ball as well. He needs to realize that he has options. He has an Egyptian god to the right of him, and he literally he didn't even look over to him at certain points. It's like Mo is completely wide open.
Gakpo is clearly not.
I understand that Darwin Nunez is new to the Prem, so he probably doesn't understand English all that well. But I am sure that if Mo yells at him, move the ball back, that he might understand that.
I think Gakpo isn't ready for the league just yet. He needs to adjust.
What I think is that we're taking chances on players that are one-season wonders currently.
King, you want anything to add on the Liverpool game?
I didn't watch the game, but I have got a few things to add. I'm going to go in at Klopp, and I'm not going to go in at Klopp. I am going to use the injury excuse. I don't feel, from my recollection, that he's been able to pick a midfield three for more than 2 or 3 games at a time in this season, which is massive because the midfield's key in his sort of system.
And even his attacking options, King, like the player that was doing very good for Liverpool at the start of the season, the rest of them weren't, but the player that was doing the best was Luis Diaz, who has been out.
We need him bad.
He's also got a lot of injuries at the back and a lot of injuries at the front. And just the general injury list is quite shocking. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I don't feel Liverpool should make a rash decision on how the season's gone, because I feel like they've had so much bad luck. They're a bit like Chelsea in the boat with the injuries sort of thing. So and they're both around the same level in the table. So you can see how it's affected both squads.
Yeah.
But the other thing is losing Mane, and we spoke about this before earlier in the season, is the biggest miss for them because he started the press. He initiated how they moved off the ball.
He was key.
That is so massive, and they haven't been able to replace him. They brought in Gakpo and Nunes, which they are good players. They are both quite young, and they are coming into a new league abroad from where they're originally based.
It's just that Gakpo has only had half a season where he is doing great. Yeah. And then Nunes had one season. They need to do it for 2 years and prove that they can.
Yeah.
It's going to take time for them to adapt. So I do feel a bit sorry for Liverpool in a way. Let's spin this on a Wolves point of view so we're not being biased. Wolverhampton Wonders at the start of the season have had the same team mostly, apart from a few new signings. They shouldn't be where they are in the table. The reason why they are is they've only scored 15 goals this season, so they're missing a striker. I think everything seemed to click for them on the day because Liverpool did have more chances and more possession, but things clicked for them on the day. So it's a great result for Wolves. Since Lopetelli's come in, they've turned their form round a bit. They still need to find that source of goals, where that's going to come from. If they can find that, they'll be safe. If they can't and they still struggle, they're going to be in a battle come the end of the season.
Because they have been doing better.
I do feel as well, Liverpool, they aren't out of the race for European football yet, because Liverpool every season put a run together of 10, 12 games or something where they don't lose. They win every game. And they haven't done that yet this season. So I'm expecting maybe a few players to come back towards the end and them to get that little bit of a run going and revive their season a little bit towards later.
That'd be nice.
What's your final kind of say on the Wolves and Liverpool game?
I think Wolves shouldn't be where they are in the table. Like this is what King said, they've just been missing that goal scoring option, which is why they tried to buy several strikers this season to try and fix that. And it hasn't worked out too much for them. So I hope they can turn it around. Wolves with Liverpool, you do always think that they might, but I'm seeing less and less opportunities for them to suddenly become the Liverpool that we know this season.
I mean, my kind of final say on the Liverpool side of things, yes, like as King said, it's you look at between them and Chelsea, they are similar this season. The amount of injuries they've had to key players at key moments, like kind of just coming off post World Cup, like obviously Chelsea losing Reece James, and then obviously Liverpool losing Diaz and Jota. Say it's hampered them big time. But with the way that Klopp wants to play his football, he doesn't have the players, and we've said this a few times since Thiago's came into that midfield. They've not bought anyone else for that midfield spot. They've got an aging midfielder. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt your mid-flow there, but the situation with the players, do you think the ownership sort of thing is affecting maybe them bringing the players in? Because previously, you look at the likes of them signing Diogo Jota, that's not a signing for a Champions League winning team or a Premier League winning team. Yeah. From my point of view, it's not that level. He's not at that level.
I agree. To be fair, I mean, see, you look at Liverpool, right? They were going out and spending, like, what was it? How much they paid? Like 60 million for Salah, wasn't it? Something around about that when they went from Roma to Liverpool. They bought Alisson in for 50 odd million. We bought Van Dijk for 60 odd million as well. You look at, and then you bring in Darwin Nunez, who, like as Gormy said, has had one good season in Portuguese football. You take no disrespect to the Portuguese league.
It's a great league.
It's a great league, but compare that to the Premier League, it's a complete and utter massive step up. You think big players have came to the Premier League in the past and have fallen away big time. You've seen it with Chelsea, you've seen it with Liverpool, you've seen it Arsenal, you've seen it going on. I hope this doesn't happen to Darwin Nunez because he is still young. He's got time to learn, but they spent a lot of money on a kid who's had one good season.
Might not be ready for that step up either. Look at Salah and De Bruyne, greatest players in the world at the minute, or some of. When they first came to the Premier League with Chelsea,
they were terrible.
They were terrible.
So, yeah, they couldn't get a game. They were never involved. mean, I think Liverpool. This would be my kind of final say in the Liverpool thing. I think Liverpool are pinning too much on the likes of Gakpo and Nunez to hit the ground running like they did in Benfica and with PSV respectively. But the Premier League,
They expected them to
it's
have
too
a
quick for them.
similar thing to Luis
Yeah.
Diaz, who came in and made an impact.
Exactly,
came
they're
in
pinning too
January.
much on them, which is unfair because they're young kids.
With everybody else like having this pressure on them as well, and them not performing, I think that heaps more pressure on Salah, and that's why his numbers and figures are down this season as well. Because I think he's feeling the pressure.
It's so easy to key in on him
He's
now.
not got his pal Mane now to
He's
help
not
him.
got Firmino. He's not got Firmino either as
Yeah.
well. I mean, Firmino's either injured or badly out of form.
Yep.
Mane
and Bobby Firmino did most of the groundwork, and Salah shined.
Yep.
But even when Firmino
also,
was out a lot
they
last
took
season.
the attention away from him.
Mm.
Like everyone now knows, okay, you take Salah out of the game, Liverpool have nothing in attack, especially when Luis Diaz is injured, because Luis Diaz performed in Portugal for a little while before he got his big move, just kind of like how Bruno Fernandes did with Man United. But we're taking shots in the dark almost, to where we are hoping that they do what they're doing in Gakpo and Nunez year in, year out, whereas you need to look for proven players. Yeah, they might not be the flashiest signings, but look for proven players instead of just, okay, this guy's the hot name right now, we got to get him.
Well, with Firmino, Mane, and Salah, they were good for the last few years because they counted each other's weaknesses quite well.
Mm-hmm.
One made up for the other's shortcomings.
Firmino last season, though, didn't he have a lot of injury problems and sort of dropped off? And Mane sort of came in and played that Firmino role with Diaz.
Which is why Diaz did a good job filling in last season for
them. So now we spoke about one of our hosts' teams. We're going to another one. Aston Villa 2, Leicester 4. King, what happened?
I'll start.
What happened?
Stop pulling my hair out now. Absolute. I'm not even going to bother saying that, but it was shocking. It was shocking. We got the goal. We went ahead. We give away the ball, trying to play out from the back, and that was the theme of the game. We give away the goals. We passed it out. Now, I don't know I think you can blame both. Martinez had options either side and played it to Kamara, who had a man on him. So Kamara then lost the ball instead of just getting rid of it. He lost the ball and he passed it to his mate. I can't remember who set the first one up. Was it Madison or
Madison scored the first one, yeah.
So it might have been Iheanacho who set it up. We passed it. Open goal. There you go. So then we got back into the game and went ahead again. And then we go and give the ball away again. This time, Kamara falls over in his own half, not under that much pressure. One ball straight through. Scored 2-2. Then we get a ball put across from Emi Buendia. Beats the keeper. Beats the defender. Ollie Watkins is...
Oh, I think you muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. I hit my mic. I'm getting
getting angry.
The ball was put in by Emi Buendia. It beat the keeper. It beat the defence. Watkins there, back post, open goal to tap it in and gets the ball stuck between his feet. Do you know? And this was the story of the game. We came out second half. We was 3-2 down at half time. They got a goal just before half time, which I think was their only goal that actually they created from their own play. That Tete did look quite good.
He looks good. That's the boy from Shakhtar, isn't it?
Yeah. But then the second half, the commentator went and cursed us because he turned around and said if Unai Emery doesn't come out with something out of this game, he'll be kicking himself. Straight away after that, a ball put through. Alex Moreno tries to clear it, mistimes the clearance. Who's there? Kelechi Iheanacho to slot home again. Rounds the keeper, open goal. Defensively shocking. Didn't take our chances. Give away too many mistakes. Game summed up in 3.
How do you feel better after your rant there?
I felt better that I'd forgot about weekend's result until you put me on that one. So I might feel better this weekend, but we'll have to wait and see.
Boom, what did you make of the game?
Very good for Leicester's side of things. James Maddison back again on the score sheet. Of him knowing that his injury problems throughout this season.
Yeah.
Like Tete looks like a very good signing. He's very fast.
Tete was the best player on the park for them, and they didn't have a lot of chances.
Their new centre back didn't have the greatest of things putting the ball in his own net at one point.
I think that was a bit. I don't know if you can blame him for that. Like,
no, you can't really blame him for him as his debut. That's not what you want to do.
But it's a great win for Leicester, means they didn't have much possession, much chances, but they took
But
the chances.
Danny Ward still can't keep a clean sheet.
Nah.
What were you going after one of your late night performances last night watching the game? What did you think?
I mean, that Tete kid is good. When I was watching him, I was like, he is pretty solid. Leicester, I hope they are on the rise again, trying to get back on the right track. But Villa's defense was just shocking. It really was. It's not their quality back there, because they have a quality defense. We all know that with the players that they have back there. It's the communication. Like you could tell that they didn't know what they were supposed to execute a lot of the time back there, and that is what led to those giveaways. Because I'm what King, like Boubacar Kamara, he gets the ball and it's like, all right, you should definitely boot that out, but instead you just give it right to him. Because when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is not gonna end well. So it's an unfortunate game for Villa, but I mean, Leicester capitalized on their mistakes at the end of the day.
You said it's not a quality issue. These mistakes between Konza and Mings now has been a long time pairing for us. Mm-hmm. Since I think before we come into the Premier League, we had both. Yeah. So these mistakes have now been happening under numerous managers. Mings got dropped at the start of the season by Gerrard, captaincy removed because of making mistakes. It was great until his England call-up, and then I don't know whether that went to his head a bit and that it got a bit too much for him. But I know that we've got Diego Carlos coming back from injury, who unfortunately injured himself, only after playing 1 or 2 games, which is going to be like a brand new signing. But I do feel in the summer, and I have seen today, Emery's going to be heavily backed. He couldn't get his players that he wanted in the window. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping for another centre-back to come in to partner Diego Carlos, because I do feel like Mings is a solid player. He's a leader, but I do feel like he has his weaknesses. I think Konza,
every player has their weaknesses.
Yeah,
I think Konza we shouldn't sell. I think he needs to loan Konza out and get some more experience in the Prem. Ashley Young's been one of our best players.
Yeah, like no joke. Ashley Young,
I think
for how old he
is.
One
to like.
Well, yeah, obviously younger, but like no lie, he's been good. It's just like I'm going to stand by. You guys have quality back there. Mings and Konza are quality. Yes, they're not world class, but they're quality for the situation you guys are in.
You need more pace, in my opinion, in that team.
It comes down to communication, because that is why they make the mistakes. They don't communicate well. It's not down to, he can't pass the ball. It's down to they aren't communicating on where the ball exactly needs to go and how they're supposed to build up. That's
sometimes
the issue.
Decision making as well, I think. But
yeah,
Villa
that's mental.
If you're watching Villa fans, you're in for a big summer. A lot of rumours going around. So
I was going to say there, King. Right, what do you think the situation with Coutinho being at this moment in? Do you think he'll be staying in the summer, or do you think he'll be going?
As far as I think a lot of fans would be aware, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, but he was transfer listed in January.
Yeah,
I know he came on against Leicester, and do you know what? I watched the game in Discord with my pals, and I was fuming when he brought on Coutinho, because that guy hasn't had a goal opportunity or created a goal in his last 30 matches.
Yeah.
So why bring him on? But he actually played really well and linked up quite well with Emma, which was quite good. But
do you think he'll go this summer, or do you think it'll be hard to get?
I think he'll go.
Because I mean, the wages is going to be a massive thing for him. That's the kind of...
Obviously, the owners, when we come up to the Premier League, had a 5-year plan of European football.
Yeah.
So they want to try and speed that up a bit. And there was a big announcement today that obviously we've got the ground that's been renovated to a 50,000 seater stadium. They're doing a lot of work as well, the owners, to the surrounding area, not just Villa. They're doing it to the train station, so it's more accessible for people. They want to make Villa Park like a one-stop shop, so you go there and spend the whole day where you don't go.
I think Villa Park's absolutely beautiful. If I
Park.
come over to England ever, I want to go to Villa Park badly.
Oh yeah, hit me up. We'll go. We'll get tickets. But the plans now, and if you look at the pictures, it's very exciting. But I do think there'll be a major rebuild, and you will see a lot of players shipped in and out of the club in the summer.
I think it's probably what I mean. Obviously, I wouldn't say stagnated, but there's a lot of players that are a wee bit deadwood now. Like you said, Konsa and Mings, they've been there since in the championship. Like Boom said, Ashley Young again. Martinez, do you think he'll be there in the summer as well?
Yeah, I think so. We've slapped a £125 million transfer fee on him. So if anybody hits that, then take him. I mean, I'd be sad to see him go because I don't want to see him go. But he has said that he's committed to Villa. We've given him his chance. I think after him being at Arsenal for so long and never given a chance, and then when he was given a chance, then they sold him straight away. I think he's committed. So, and that's good. But yeah, I think what you was just saying. I think some of the players we've got have hit the level, and if we're going to progress to that next stage in the top half of the table of the Premier League and maybe a trophy or a European football adventure, we've got to progress. We can't keep using players we brought in the Championship.
Yeah. So, as you're talking about a European adventure, it's time for us to go on our first time ever European adventure tonight. We're off to La Liga, where we've seen Barcelona again playing some nice football, beating Sevilla 3-0 at the weekend. Gavi and Pedri. What more can you say about them? I'll go to you, Mr. Gormy, as they're your beloved Barcelona.
Yeah, massive fan of them. I am a massive fan of the way that they play. And how Xavi has had them set up now, because the beginning of the season, like you could tell, like they weren't all on the same page, and he has switched up how they end up playing now. Holy crap, do they look like a whole different team? They're how many points clear at the top now? I think like 7, 9 or 8
9 points.
9. All right. Yep. So they are all on the same page now. Gavi and Pedri look amazing, especially with Frankie de Jong there. Frank Kessie got a chance over the weekend, and he had a great ball into Jordi Alba, which, I mean, when Jordi Alba scores a goal, you know that someone's doing something right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just overall, Barcelona look really freaking good right now. Sevilla do suck, though, so there is that. They are horrible. How they are as bad as they are, I don't know, because you look at the players in that team and they shouldn't be that bad. But they are. But Barcelona look very, very good right now, and the way that they're playing. Highly suggest everyone just like from a tactical viewpoint, watch them, and you will be blown away with how good they look.
What about you? Boom, since I know you're a massive Barcelona fan as well.
Oh, of course. No, they look quite good today. They were unfortunate to not score in the first half of it. There was a lot. They had a lot of chances. Lewandowski kept trying to feel bad for him in that game because he was close on numerous occasions to try and get a goal. Gavi and Pedri, what can be said that hasn't been said about those two? They're just talented. Even Rafinha has been criticized recently for his actually did something today. So in that game.
And last but not least, Mr. King. Barcelona, do you think they're on their way back to some sort of Spanish domination? Or do you think it's a flash in the pan this season?
I think they're doing very well this season. I think obviously the stats side at themselves as well. I think they've only conceded 7 goals, if I'm correct. Lost 1, drew 2, won the rest. So they're doing very, very well. Xavi's got them playing some decent football. They do remind me with the way they were playing. Gulman was just saying, and I'll touch on that. It reminds me of the old-fashioned Barcelona a lot more than the last couple of years. They've looked a bit disjointed from, and I say the old-fashioned Barcelona because when I grew up, it was Barcelona, Real Madrid were the giants of the whole football pyramid, and that's no longer the case. But they do seem to give me that feel that they are maybe going back to what they did before when they was so dominant. And like you say, Pedri and Gavi, I mean, them boys they're really good at now, and they're only so young. Just imagine what they're going to be like in their prime when they're already hitting it. I didn't watch the game fully, but obviously they kind it, didn't they? And I think it's theirs to throw away now this season. Real Madrid. I mean, we'll touch on them in a minute, so I won't go into them. But I think it's Barca's to throw away now.
I mean, the only downside to the Barcelona game at the weekend was losing Sergio Busquets. He's going to be out for a couple, I think, 5 or 6 weeks now with a thigh injury, so he misses the game against 2 games probably against Manchester.
They also lost Dembele as well recently.
That's what I was going to say. Their big game now to show how their season is and what they're going to match their season upon is the Man U game, I feel.
Because whoever wins that matchup between them and Man U, they will most likely play Arsenal in the final of the Europa League.
That's a fast game. That's a fast go through as well, but
the Arsenal will definitely go through.
Never know. But
the favourites will be Arsenal, and whoever wins that game, United. But
yeah,
I mean, Arsenal won't get to a final if they play like they did against Everton.
Yeah. So, can I quick round up on some of the games? We've got Lorient versus Lens in the French league just now. It's 1-0 to Lens. Braga 0-0 against Benfica, and in the women's game in the Women's FA Cup, it's currently West Ham United women 0, Chelsea women 7.
Stop it! Game. They're already dead.
Nice meme there, Mr. Boom. I like that.
Shout out to Emma Hayes, Chelsea manager, coming back from her surgery. I think it wasn't it? And she had top team, top manager.
She is a very good manager. She actually got her start in Chicago, which is north of me. She was actually supposed to manage one of the teams here, but she took the Chicago job instead.
But hopefully we're going to get a wee women's section come to the podcast soon. So with that being said as well, we go from talking about women to Real Madrid. They play like a bunch of women right now, aren't they, Boom? What's happened?
They had the chances in this game, to be fair to them.
I watched the highlights this morning, and
they tried to score, they just couldn't. It was a lot of just non-existence in front of
huffing
goal.
And puffing.
Yeah, they huff and puffed the entire way through that game and just couldn't get. Fair play to Mallorca. I love Mallorca. I've said it to you multiple times because I like that team. I always hope they survive in La Liga ever since they got up to it. So, fair play. A big result from them.
Yeah.
It's a goal that came from nowhere. It was a cross in that got headed up and went off Nacho into the
it was a bit of a strange goal from Courtois was in no man's land.
That wasn't Courtois.
Was it not Courtois? Who was it?
No,
that was Lunin.
They played Lunin.
Oh, was it Lunin?
Courtois was on the bench. They rotated because Mallorca's lower down in the table. They thought that they could.
They thought that they could walk all over them because they're Real Madrid and they're better than everyone else, you know.
For Zach, they thought they could get away. They thought they could get away with playing Camavinga at left back again, which is I always question that. It's a terrible decision from Ancelotti. That and Sensio just got a penalty and blasted it straight forward, and the keeper was always going to read that. Terrible penalty.
Only scores wonder goals, he does, don't he?
It's not 35 yards out. It doesn't go to the fine top corner. I mean,
but fair play to the keeper for reading that.
Gormy, what did you think about it?
I thought Mallorca played well. Real Madrid definitely didn't, and they felt because they're Real Madrid that they should basically automatically win that game because of the side that they sent out against Mallorca. Now, the goal that Mallorca scored, I'm with Boom. That was kind of out of nowhere because of the way that they were playing it around. And then they're like, we'll just whip the ball in to our top scorer, see if he gets his head to it. And sure enough, he did in the way that the ball arced over Lunin. I think Lunin thought that it was going to go over, but it dipped under the bar, and that was the goal that sealed the win. And I mean, Real Madrid losing to a team like Mallorca, who are way down the table, I mean, I guess that really helps their bid with the new Super League, being that they can lose to teams that are way down the list. So, I mean,
because Mallorca are a team that just they fight for survival in nearly every year in the league since they got.
I forgot.
Too harsh on them. They're in 10th place.
They're in 10th now, but this
this
is like the best they've been. The last few seasons they've been fighting to stay.
I forgot that Mariano or whatever his name is, the Costa Rican dude, is still at Real Madrid. I had no idea.
This season, surprisingly, it's Valencia and Sevilla that are fighting for their lives.
Not surprising with Valencia. That's kind of been happening to them lately. They have Gaia and Musa. Like that's.
But they haven't been that bad, Valencia. Look at the past. They were bad, but not that bad.
Last point to you, King. What do you think about that Real Madrid performance at the weekend?
Shocking result from Real Madrid. I mean, let's not take it away from Mallorca. Well played. They obviously went in with a game plan. But this is what I was saying just about the Spanish dominance. You look at their team, Camavinga at left back, Nacho Carvajal, Dani Ceballos. They've got two young kids in midfield, Tucumeni and Valverde. Now, Valverde's world-class, but Tucumeni, he's on the verge of sort of breaking into that level. You know, they've got no Benzema. He's obviously out injured. They're playing Lunin in goal. This just isn't a Real Madrid team.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like a Real Madrid. If you'd have put that team in front of somebody that doesn't know much about football and said, "Oh, whose is that team?" They'd probably say Luton Town. Do you know what I mean? because it just does not look like a Real Madrid team.
That would be one hell of a team for Luton Town.
They huffed and they puffed and they couldn't blow the house down, could they? And the thing is, the more and more they're dropping points, I think in the last 3 games they've only won 1. The more and more they're dropping points, the more and more they're handing the title to Barcelona, which I think is they might go on and win the Champions League, though. You never know. That's how Real Madrid
that's their competition, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's against Gomes' team.
I think Real Madrid have got a big rebuild. Rebuild.
I mean, that's what I was just about to say. I mean, obviously there was a lot of paper talk come from Spain, etc., regarding about this Club World Cup coming up. Well, it's just started yesterday, I believe. That if Ancelotti doesn't win this tournament, he's getting sacked at the end of it.
You can't sack
the man Carlo. Just won you the Champions League
exactly.
Before.
He wasn't even
Real Madrid fans
it's what Real Madrid do. It's what most of the fans in Spain call for.
Madrid fans are the more extreme United fans. That's what they are.
Yeah, the main in Spain
and,
like that.
And somehow Boom supports both clubs.
I mean, it'll be a travesty if they sacked Don Carlo, because they should have offered him a 5-year contract after getting that cigar on top of the bus after the Champions League.
Yeah, but you see,
forever a legend.
The main Real Madrid people in Spain, the Madristas, don't think that way. They turned on Gareth Bale quicker than anything. So it's just how they operate.
Yeah. I think
Gareth Bale still won them 3 champions.
Yes, and they turned on him like quicker than I turn when a red light comes on, you know?
I think what you'll see now is Real Madrid, with how far they're behind, is probably look to prioritise the Champions League now, because but for Barcelona, for a team, well, I say a team like Barcelona, they're still just trying to get back to where they used to be. They're not the same level as they used to be, but for a team like that, it's like Man City when they're on their season, or Liverpool when they're on their season. For them to lose 3 games in the form that they're in, you probably got more chance of winning the lottery by being hit by Thunder.
It puts a lot of emphasis on that Champions League game, but both Liverpool and Real Madrid pretty much are putting all their hopes on the Champions League at this point.
Mm-hmm. Which makes it an even spicier clash, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yep.
What you saying, Gourmet? Watch along for that one, or
I think we
confirm it live on air?
It's basically like the Super Bowl's coming up. That is the toilet bowl with how bad a form both teams are in.
We can confirm that we will be showing the Barcelona versus we will be covering the Barcelona versus Manchester United game next Thursday, and then we will be probably doing the Liverpool.
I wonder who's going to be on for that game.
I am not because I'm working, so I think you know who it is.
Yeah, it's our Man United faithfuls.
2 guesses, isn't it?
Exactly. But we'll probably be doing the Chelsea versus Dortmund game as well as the Real Madrid versus Liverpool game as well.
I can confirm now, but I'm busy that night for Man U Barcelona. I'm washing my hair.
Shaving your beard. Trimming your beard. So we go from Real Mallorca versus Real Madrid to probably the game of the weekend, I would say, between Real Betis and Celta Vigo. 4-3 to Celta Vigo. I mean, the game is absolutely crazy. Gormy, you said you wanted to cover this one. You can start us off.
I love Real Betis. They are amazing, but they left a little bit to be desired in that game because they definitely. I don't know if you guys saw the highlights or anything.
I watched the highlights today.
Did you see the sitter that was missed?
I watched the game.
I literally yelled at my TV. I go, "How do you miss that?" It should have been 4-4.
I watched the entire game. Going.
The last 4-4. I couldn't believe that. Like that literally, like. There
was actually several moments where Real Betis should have scored the equalizer. There was 2 other moments.
I know.
From that.
But I mean, in Celta Vigo, that kid, I can't remember his name. He had a brace for them.
Oh, the
kid is a baller.
Vega.
Yeah, his little dink over the keeper. I was like, wow, that's class.
He almost got his head kicked off. He almost got his head kicked off. He kind of ducked under that, and then. Think up name.
That game had everything for the neutral. One team took the lead, then the other equalized, and took that other team that took the lead, then equal.
Yeah, it was very back and forth. But I mean,
in my opinion, it
definitely could have been. Yeah, it should have been 4-4. But in the end, they couldn't finish. So it's unfortunate. But I mean, Celta Vigo definitely earned that win and
it doesn't help when
they
you
missed the absolute
card.
Sitter. Yeah,
when someone's trying to delay Celta Vigo trying to delay time by having 2 balls around the pitch there.
Yeah. Funny thing about that though,
charges them.
Funny thing about that, when I was looking up the highlights, I looked up Celta Vigo and Real Betis, and I'm watching it, and all of a sudden I see Hector Bellerin there, and I'm like, wait a second, he's on Sporting now. And I was like, oh, I'm watching the game from last year. All right, I'm sitting there waiting for all these goals to happen. I'm like, oh snap! All right, now I found the actual game.
I found that funny with Felipe just charging the Celta Vigo player.
Yeah,
holding on to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, all around it was a good game. Just would have been nice if it was 4-4.
King, anything from you regarding about the Betis game?
Not much to add apart from only Gormy could watch a game for the previous season.
It's like, dear God, these goals must happen in the final minute.
I was in the 88th minute, and I'm like, holy crap, there's going to be like 5 goals.
Dear God.
I didn't watch the game, to be honest. I'll put it out there. I am sorry. I should have caught up with it. But is this the game where the goalkeeper came out and then he threw the ball back on the pitch? Is that the thing you were talking about?
Wasn't it? Was that not that game? No, what game? No, what game was that?
That was
we were talking about last night.
In Feyenoord.
Yeah, 20.
Oh, that was class. That was class. Anyway,
proper shithousery.
Nothing to add on Betis or Celta.
Boom. Did you want to add anything on that one?
And no, it's just a mad game.
So now we go from La Liga to the Bundesliga, and I'm going to start with Gormy in this one because of the team we're starting with. Borussia Dortmund 5, Freiburg 1. One thing I want to say is congratulations to Sebastian Haler for his first goal back since he came back from the test out of cancer.
On National Cancer Day.
On National Cancer Day as well. So
And the center circle was in the shape
of
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, guys, if you're watching, please go and if you're ever worried, go and get yourself checked out. Please, it saves lives. It saves your life, saves other people's lives. The awareness, please, get yourself checked out. So, going back to the football, Borussia Dortmund 5, Freiburg 1. Gormy, please enlighten us with your German football mind.
Chelsea need to watch out. They definitely need to watch out. Dortmund look scary good right now. The one thing that did scare me, though, is when they were celebrating Karim Adeyemi jumped on top of the pile, then rolled off onto the ground. So don't need him getting injured again. But, I mean, overall, everyone played absolutely phenomenal. Julian Brandt is, like, revitalized this season. He looks really good at the moment. I mean, everyone's contributing. You got Nico Schlotterbeck getting another goal. Jude Bellingham looking phenomenal as always. Like you said, Sebastian Hayer getting a goal. And then Wonder Boy, Mr. Giovanni Reina, coming off the bench again and scoring again. It's almost like he should have played at the World Cup, I think, and gotten more minutes.
Don't tell Greg Berhalter that.
Yeah, but I don't think he has access to ESPN Plus over here to be able to watch the games, that or Peacock, for that matter. Because I mean, Gio Reyna looks very, very good right now. The whole team looks good. And Ryerson, who he brought in, I believe Ryerson was at Union Berlin.
Yes, he was.
He kind of had a mishap like the Leicester City center back did with having an own goal in his first game, but then the next game he scored. I mean, he's looked absolutely amazing so far since that mishap in his first game. But I mean, overall, Dortmund really showed up. They really did. Freiburg, after their very hot start to the season, they have definitely fallen off, unfortunately. So hopefully the club of the Black Forest can pick it back up soon. But Dortmund, they absolutely balled out in that game.
I mean, I'm looking at the table just now. They're only 3 points off Bayern Munich as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that goal difference is considerable.
Drastic.
Yeah.
Drastic.
Yeah. 2 points off Union Berlin in second, so they are closing that.
Yeah, don't talk. I don't talk about Union Berlin. Even though we're going to be talking about it later on.
We know your vendetta against Berlin as a whole.
Sorry, boom. Anything to add for Borussia Dortmund's Freiburg?
No, it's a good story. Dortmund, comfortable win in the end for them, especially with the silly double yellow card from the Freiburg person in that beginning. That was just
Sadilla. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Within a minute of each yellow card is just stupid.
And he's a quality player too, so to lose someone like that for a whole game.
And that's his first time he's ever gotten a red card, apparently, from what I...
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a stupid reaction from him to do that. But good story for Haler. He takes the headlines for that. Also, the Freiburg manager got sent off at one point in that game.
Anything from you, Mr. King?
Great result for Dortmund. Looking like they're back. I think, what's that? 4 wins out of 4, if I'm correct now.
Since the restart.
I will say, great goal by Brandt as well. That was a good goal.
Mm-hmm.
The German league, the Bundesliga, is a very weird one this year. Normally, you've got one team that runs away with it.
It's more closer this year than any other year.
Yeah, and then you've got a couple of teams just under that are around the same. But I think the whole top 6 are like separated by about 6 points, so it's very nice to say.
It's a very fun league to watch.
I feel sorry for Freiburg because they have dropped off from their fantastic start, but I love Dortmund and what they do. The fact that they've got Adeyemi on the score sheet, Slotterbeck, Reina, Jamie Bino, Gittins, Makoko, Malin, so many young Bellingham, so many young fantastic talents. I hear that boy is actually captain in their team now.
Yeah, Bellingham's a captain. Yeah.
That's why I don't blame Bellingham if he's like, you know what, screw all these other clubs. I'm going to sign an extension. because I mean the side that Dortmund has.
There's
give them
rumors.
3 years. Oh my God, they're going to be dominant.
That's the problem
rumors.
with Dortmund, though, and they've been doing this for years now. They sell them off too quickly. They don't keep the team there, and that's why I think they've got into that they've got that name about themselves. But quality result, they controlled the game. They deserve the win. Congratulations on Haler. That's a lovely story. That is.
Yep.
From somebody that's like cancer's been in the family, and that definitely, ladies, gents, check yourself out. Make sure you go in for your yearly tests or whatever, and reach out to people if you're unsure, because there's definitely people there. If you catch it early enough, you can turn it around. So, but yeah, great
100%.
result for Dortmund. Love to see
Mm-hmm.
Then, so we now go from one German giant to another. Go from Wolfsburg. We go Wolfsburg 2, Bayern Munich 4. Boom. What do you think about this one?
Well, Wolfsburg had some good form going into this game, but like this is the Bayern Munich that has been missing for the past. They showed up for once in this game and absolutely destroyed Wolfsburg in the first half. They got themselves a bit of a lifeline near the end of the half, Wolfsburg, with that thing, but then just Bayern saw it out, and then even with going down to 10 men, just Bayern just controlled it. And,
when Kimmich got sent off, it was a bit more of a bit squeaky bum time, I would think.
Yeah, I honestly thought that Bayern was going to lose.
when I say control, I mean they solved the result out. That's what I think. Controlling you don't get you rely on your defense to get the job done. Is what United did against Palace during last week. Like you just see it. It might be a bit nervy for a minute or two, but you mostly see it out, and that's what they did. Kimmich. Stupid reaction in that one for him.
Yeah.
But all in all, Koeman, brilliant strikes. Thomas Muller back again with a goal.
Mr. Raumdeuter.
Yep. And Gormy's favorite, Musiala.
Dude, Bambi is a baller. Another player that Chelsea didn't know what they had.
It was 16 minutes left, so nobody knew what he was going to have.
And João Cancelo's debut.
No,
he played before.
He played before. He has assists in both games already. He looks absolutely insane.
Is that not in the Pokal? But was that not in the Pokal? Was that in the German Cup? Was that in the league? Was it?
He's played 3 games already.
Nice. So, King, what about Bayern Munich for you?
To be honest, I was shocked by the result, actually, because Wolfsburg had been... I know, all right, before the game before they'd lost, so that's 2 defeats now if you include a Munich game. But before that, they were 10 games unbeaten. I think in 10 games, they had 6 wins as well, if my memory corrects me right. So,
and no, he's only played in 2, one in the Pokal and one in the league. That was his league debut.
They were in form, Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
But Munich as well. This goes back to the point we made earlier about Real Madrid and Barcelona. Munich side, like, it's one of them. It's up there. But same with Juve, I feel. They're not as good as they used to be. And I think that's showing with the league standings at the minute. So, yeah, happy that Munich got the result. Well, I suppose they're happy they got the result. But I just feel a bit underwhelmed by them.
Yeah.
Throughout the season. Maybe not in this game, but throughout the season.
And lastly, Mr. Gormy, what's your opinions on the Bayern Munich game?
I honestly thought that they were going to lose after Kimmich got that red, because my dad's I'm the Dortmund fan. He is the Bayern fan. And I was having to listen to him watch the game. And like he even sounded a little worried, like, oh crap, like we might actually get a draw or potentially lose. But I mean, Bayern are Bayern. They're gonna get the job done at the end of the day. They have quality throughout the side. They do have some injuries. That is the one team you can use the injury excuse with right now. Because of who they're missing. Manuel Neuer has burned his bridges and he will no longer play for them. Most likely,
because they fired his friend with the goalkeeping
goalkeeping coach,
which was his best friend apparently.
But also missing Sadio Mane has been big for them, but they're still getting the job done. They're still scoring goals.
Yeah.
They have quality throughout the entire team.
Is because the recent results from Bayern, they've blown leads.
Well, no, that wasn't why. It was because Kimmich, their most important midfielder, got a red. That's why I thought.
And if you base it on previous,
and Wolfsburg had scored, so I was like,
games,
okay, they might. But
you base it on previous mentalities from Bayern Munich in the last games, they usually crumble with those kind of.
But
moments.
also Wolfsburg has been good. So
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That combined with like Bayern's tendency to crumble this season, there was always the chance that they could have blown it.
Yeah, but I mean, when you have the ability to bring Serge Gnabry off the bench, that is depth at its finest right there. So I mean, you got Thomas Muller doing Thomas Muller things. Kingsley Coman looking class lately, and Jamal Musiala is probably the most talented youngster in the world. I don't care what people say about the Hendrick kid in Brazil. I don't think he's going to be doing what Jamal Musiala is able to do.
No.
Along with a couple others
against.
But I am still backing Bayern Munich because earlier this year I said I think that Bayern Munich can get to the semifinals of the Champions League, and I still think it can happen. They are that good. Cancelo, absolutely. Cancelo he adds a whole other element of class to that team. They look really good. I mean, PSG, they're going to be missing Mbappe. So it's definitely going to be a tight tie between them, just like with a lot of these sides. But I think Bayern is absolutely amazing. So they yes, I definitely thought that they could have lost, but I mean Bayern's Bayern. So
I don't want to keep us on the subject too long, but I am going to disagree with Gorman there. I think they're going to struggle this season in the Champions League.
Really?
I think Musiala is quality. Don't get me wrong. That kid is he's on the sort of level as Pedri and Gavi, I feel, at the minute, and Bellingham. They're all like that same sort of level. Bellingham may be a bit older, but the other three very, very similar with their the way that they play and stuff. But I feel like just generally as a team, and I think this has showed in the Bundesliga this year, that Munich have struggled since losing Lewandowski. They haven't got that focal point. I know they've got Mane. And
it's not because of Lewandowski. I honestly think it's because of Nagelsmann. I think that Nagelsmann is overhyped. I think anyone can go to Bayern and win games.
Yeah.
You have to be a world-class manager, though, to get them to perform to their heights that they're able to. Because honestly, like Bayern of old, under world-class managers, could beat Wolfsburg 7-0, even if they get a red card. So, I mean, it's – I know that Julian Nagelsmann is like the prodigal son there now in German football, but I don't agree with all the hype.
I personally thought it was the wrong move at the time when they hired him.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they had no other choice. Hansi Flick left. So
the last one in the Bundesliga is Union Berlin 2, Mainz 1.
Chris, tell us about this since you love Berlin so much.
Well, I was just kind of looking at. I watched some of the game today, and Juranovic did not play. I think he's only played maybe 1 or 2 games so far for Berlin, but Union Berlin look good. I mean, they're sitting third. They're sitting second in the league for a reason. Mm-hmm. They look very good. They've not got the biggest names playing for them, but they have got a very, very good squad. A squad of players that are playing well together. But how long can it last? I hope they've got a European adventure as well so far. But what more can you say about Union Berlin? They've got a good manager there as well, and they've done wonders this season and last season. Don't get me wrong, they've done wonders last season as well, and it's been amazing. Gormy, you love Union Berlin as well, don't you?
Yeah, I like Union Berlin. I like what they're doing. I also like Mainz a lot. Mainz is my second team in the Bundesliga. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a solid game. Jordan Pifok or Jordan Ciabachu, whoever you want to, whatever you want to call him. I call him Jordan Pifok because that's what he likes to be called. He gets on the score sheet, and once again, an American showing why he should have played at the World Cup. And our dummy of a manager should have probably brought him, but once again, he doesn't have ESPN Plus. So, I mean, Union Berlin, it was definitely way too close for them, I think, to like have a comfortable win and be comfortable in that game. But I mean, Union Berlin, they are defying all the odds recently throughout the years. So, I mean, there's nothing stopping them. There's nothing holding them back from being able to win the league, because if Bayern do slip up, they are right there to pounce on them. So it's Union Berlin are a very intriguing team to watch the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So if people have free time and haven't really watched the Bundesliga, definitely give them a watch.
An unfortunate penalty handball from the man who provided the assist for the first goal for Union Berlin. Gave them a scare, but the reason how they're going to stay in like that top four is by literally what they did, get a result when from a negative position. It could have very easily been a 1-1 draw with that penalty. Yeah. But they found a way back in to win it.
What about you, King? How do you think? What do you think about the story of Union Berlin this season and last season, obviously, as well?
Yeah, they're a team on the rise, I feel, from looking at the time. I have watched them a little bit, actually, because I am quite intrigued in their story. Their game the weekend that they played against Mainz was very, very close. But it shows a good team when you have a very tight game, but you still come out to win it, when you probably maybe don't deserve to win it. But it's like Gormy said, if Bayern Munich do slip up and Nagelsmann and Munich aren't on top form, because they haven't been this season, they're far from top form. Now, not that they've been losing games, but the 7 draws they've got is probably unheard of at this stage in the season for Bayern. If they do slip up, imagine the scenes Union Berlin winning the league.
Dude, that'd be absolutely insane. The scenes last year when they made Europe.
Yeah. It'd be like the German version of Leicester.
That's what I mean. Like that last season, they made Europe, and then they've took that step on again. Now they haven't gone out and signed massive names or spent millions and millions of pounds, but they've just built on what they already had. They may have brought in a few people for smaller amounts, but then they are progressing. Now, hopefully, they don't do a Freiburg and start dropping off, and they can keep up, because it's always nice to have a good race. If Leipzig, Dortmund, Union Berlin, and Munich can all stay pretty close, the German Bundesliga come the end of the season is going to be a fantastic watch. And do you know what? There is a part of me that would like them to win. I mean, I'm not a Munich fan, I'm a Dortmund fan, so I'm hoping Dortmund, come good and go and win it, because they're in a great position to. But if they can't, Union Berlin all day long. Come on, we haven't had another winner apart from Dortmund or Munich in Germany for how many years now?
12 years now.
12 years, and before that, I think there's been one in maybe 20 odd years or something like that. I think, if I'm correct, I may be wrong, but
there were a couple others. Yeah,
I'm loving the story, and hopefully they can keep it going. It's a fairy tale.
So John's kind of put a question in the chat there regarding about Bayern Munich. Pep Guardiola, if he leaves Manchester City back to Bayern, I think that boat's already sailed. I think
he would only go back to Barca.
Didn't he have a massive falling out with people at the higher level of Bayern? If Pep goes anywhere, he's going back to Barca. But
I feel like he's only going to go back.
If Pep went back to Barca, that would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. If anything, he's doing international management because he has nothing else to prove at the club level.
Unless he goes
unless PSG are like, you know what, Pep's available. We're going to see if he would want to come here. And if he does, we're going to sack our manager just because we want Pep.
I could see him maybe going to PSG to throw the money at him. But say if Xavi, say they win the league this season and then miraculously next season they're doing so bad, I can see Pep because of his heart that he's got for Barca. Maybe going back if there's some sort of situation, maybe not even next season, maybe 4 or 5 years' time. I can see him going back to come as the saviour and the Lord returns and whatever. But I do feel his next jobs are either PSG, Barca, or the Spanish national job.
I agree.
Or the US men's national team.
I mean, if you look at FM, he's going to end up at. If you look at Football Manager, he's going to end up at Liverpool.
Again, between having Klopp swap teams as well every single season. So we've done our job. We've done our job in the Bundesliga. We're now off to get some pizza, some pasta. We're going to go and watch Serie A. So first game, the Milan derby. Inter 1, Milan 0. So Inter getting the result in the eternal derby. So, what do we think about this one?
It was a very back and forth game from what I saw. The thing, a very good header from Lautaro Martinez with this 1-0, and then ever since then it was literally I saw shots from both sides back and forth. Anyone could have scored from then, and it was just good defending from the keepers.
I mean, this one didn't fill me, but obviously everyone knows that kind of the Milan derby is one of the biggest.
Didn't feel like a derby. It was just a normal game back and forth.
Derby. Nah. So, do we think Inter and Milan? Do you think with this new possible stadium between the two of them, so I get one stadium, get another one? Do you think that's affecting my season with their kind of style of play, or what? Both teams have been very, very lackluster this season.
Yeah, considering AC Milan very good last season to now this.
I think it is. I think it's Napoli looks so damn good that all these other teams look poor compared.
Yeah. I mean,
that's got to be what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could say that for like Inter being from second for them, but like you look at AC Milan, they've fallen off quite a.
They've dropped off something terrible.
The fact they're in sixth at the moment from being a team that was in first.
I think I'm going to come in while it's a bit quiet. Boom, was you watching the right game? End to end, Inter Milan had like nearly 70% possession. AC Milan didn't have a shot on target.
I was talking about. I saw shots, even not off target. I just saw shots.
4 shots AC Milan had all game on target. Off target.
I was watching the highlights, King.
I was going to say, I think you was watching the wrong game. Inter Milan.
It was end to end on the highlights, King.
Inter Milan actually controlled this game. Like and for a Milan derby or a Fiat derby, any derby really, you wouldn't expect that. But for Inter Milan to control the game, I think 65, maybe nearly 70. I think it was around 65% possession. But they had like 15 shots off target. I think it was. They didn't have as many on, but they had a lot more than AC Milan did because AC Milan didn't have no shots on target. And I do agree with what Gormy was saying. Napoli this season look unstoppable in the Serie A. And I think that's what's making all the rest look bad. I think if Napoli wasn't on the form that there was, the top 2 or 3 would be closer together. AC Milan, I am very surprised how they've dropped off from last season. Like, they won the league, didn't they, last season, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, they did. They impressively won the league for the first time in ages.
They've literally had 1 win in 6. They've lost the last 3. They're sitting on 38 points, which is,
For them, that is poor.
That's nearly 20 points behind Napoli. They're at, I think, 7 points behind Inter Milan in second. But the form they're on is shocking. Do we think that the AC Milan team is getting a bit old with the likes of Olivier Giroud, Origi? Obviously, there's.
I don't understand that signing. I don't get that signing.
Is Giroud suffering from contract talks?
Every player does.
I think
but that's what I'm saying. You could give Giroud kind of an excuse, maybe, that he's currently trying in contract renewal talks this entire time.
AC Milan have got players like Rafael Leao, Tonali, Tio. You know,
they stole Liverpool's Plan B in Origi.
Tomori, yeah, one of the best defenders in the European leagues before the World Cup. But
and they have Mr.
No, that's now at Southgate. Thanks.
Corner taken quickly, Origi up top.
But
I still don't understand the Origi signing. Like it
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. They don't.
Nah. I mean, look at that. You look at that team, right? So you've got
Badly on the bench, which was surprising to me.
Well, that's what was going to come to me. Right, you've got Giroud and Origi, two target men, if you will, two big rangy strikers. Mm-hmm. You got is it Teo Hernandez or is it Luka Hernandez? Is it Teo at left back? They've got Calabria at right back, who's I wouldn't say is anything great. Sandro Tonali's a fantastic player. I've got a guy called Junior Messias. Never heard of him in my life before.
He's okay.
31, but midfield of 31. Sandro Tonali's, like I said, 22. Krunic, 29. They've got Simon Kjær, who's the grand age of 40 now. It seems like he's been around for
yeah, but he's still good.
He's still good. But they've got, was it Gabi as well? He's a good up and coming internationalist, Italy internationalist. But the goalkeeping situation, I mean, they've got a 37-year-old goalkeeper in goal.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
That's because Mike's injured.
Mike's injured, isn't he? Yeah.
But you look at that team, and they've got Brahim Diaz, who I think is a fantastic attacking midfielder. But you look at AC and Inter Milan teams from the past. I mean, I grew up with a team like Dida, Maldini, Kaká, when Ronaldinho was playing for them, when Beckham was playing for them, people in Zaga, Shevchenko, and all that. You don't get that up and go with.
I mean, when Leao came on the pitch, he was at least trying. That's why I was expecting him being on the bench.
I think the Rafael Leao stuff is hampering with the new contract, the possible transfer away from him, because there's been a lot of interest in them since
a lot of agents, a lot of them doing a report saying, "Oh, he's not looking to."
Yeah, because we were covering it during the transfer deadline day. There was like tweets going out left, right, and centre from him and his agent and AC Milan and like kind of press and all that. That can't be good for a young boy who's trying to make his career.
I don't know when the club made a statement saying he's not looking. It's like it would have been better from the player to come out and say that. There's always going to be question marks if the player isn't.
But I mean, you guys as well. I mean, maybe not Gormy because he's one of the kind of younger ones, like from the back. See, like since he's saying on another stream that he's not looking forward to the 1998 season since he was born that year. But I
still don't believe that.
I was like, that was the kind of era I started watching like kind of Serie A, like Costa, Maldini when they were in their pomp. That's what got me into Italian football. But see, nowadays you look at that AC Milan and Inter Milan team, you look at the teams like where's the fight, where's the passion? You don't get pictures like Gattuso and D'Ambrosio arms around each other, looking at the pyro coming down from the skies.
There isn't. It's like that in almost all of sport now, to where derbies, rivalries aren't like they used to be, especially a derby like the Milan derby, because those were the world would stop and watch, basically. Same with the El Clasicos. Like, it was like must watch TV wherever you were. It's just not like that anymore, unfortunately. And honestly, because I think I'm the only one that hasn't spoken on this, I was bored watching it.
Yeah.
I was bored watching it.
I watched it live.
It was not entertaining. It's sad when that happens with two amazing historic clubs, when it's even like the fans just weren't into it like they used to be. So maybe come the new stadiums, maybe it changes. But
there's two points to make as well, and I think this hits on something you were just talking about. I brought this up with the Real Madrid, the Barcelona, the Bayern Munich team, and now we've moved to Serie A. You just brought up some players. In the 90s, Serie A was the biggest league in the world. You had your
100%.
R9, you had the Batistuta, you've had your Kaká, your Maldini, your Fabio Cannavaro, your Gianluigi Buffon. You know, you've had all these players, and the teams now, and this goes for probably Juve as well. I don't know whether we're covering, but this goes for all these big teams now. They're a shadow of their former selves.
They really are.
They are, and I don't want to be critical, but where are the players coming through the youth systems? Where are these signings that are being picked up out the hat? Because I'm not being funny, but I mean, internationally, watching the World Cup, we just had the World Cup. International teams are a shadow of the former selves as well.
Yeah.
Like the players nowadays, I don't know whether it's because they're overhyped, because they're overpaid, or they get all this money from such an early age, and then they stop progressing so much. It's upsetting in a way. It's upsetting. It is, because as a football fan, I want to watch them R9s, I want to watch them Kakas, I want to watch them Pirlos. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't think we have them in the game anymore.
You don't. Everyone tries to. I mean, for me, you see that more so in Serie A and in La Liga compared to the Bundesliga and the Prem, to where you still see those flashes of like kind of old style type players in the Bundesliga and in the Prem, whereas La Liga and Serie A, it's kind of gone the flashy route now. And I don't know if it's because, everyone wants to be the next Messi. Everyone wants to be the next Ronaldo. Be the next you and try and create that next, Pirlo created his own style. What if Barella created his own style? Like that's what you kind of need
he's off
to keep it in no, that's Zaniolo.
Sorry.
Yeah, but that's what you need to like kind of keep it intriguing for us as fans, and for the derbies to be derbies still. It's just it's okay, this guy makes $500K a week, and what's so special about him?
Yeah. That's a problem as well. I think they paid too much money at such a young age. The only other thing on this game, sorry, before we quickly move on, is they're playing Origi and Giroud, who are probably the combined age of Jesus Christ himself. Now they've got a young lad on the bench, Charles de Ketelaere. Yeah. He only had 6 starts. Why? Why fucking buy him in the first place? Sorry about the language.
Because he ain't the flashy name.
Let him stay in the Belgian league, play football week in, week out, and progress. This is what big clubs are doing to youngsters now. They're bringing them in far too early, and they're halting their progression.
Yep.
Chelsea.
He could be, if he doesn't get more game time, one of these culprits. Anyway, we'll move on. Sorry.
So we go from the two former giants to are now nigh on titles, I would say, with Napoli. Spezia 0, Napoli 3. This Napoli just looked so good.
Not Napoli as a whole. Napoli kind of looked a little off, but Victor Osimhen is a machine, dude.
Yeah.
In fairness, though, his first goal was fully gifted.
Yeah.
But the other two.
The second goal was nicely well worked.
Yeah.
But, the Georgian boy whose name I'm not going to butcher live on air.
Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, him, that guy. he got the first goal. That was a goal he needed. Yeah, that was a goal he needed, and then he got an assist for Osimhen's second goal. But
the first goal was just a calamity.
Yeah,
from Spezia.
King, I'll come to you first. Napoli, do you think they're going to win the league completely? Just going to blow everyone else out the water now? Was it 16 points clear?
I said that Barcelona would throw the league away if they didn't win it. Napoli will literally be gifting it to somebody if they don't win it. There's no way. In my eyes, there's no way that they can't go on and win it now, unless there's a miracle where half of their players, I don't know, I don't know what they're going to end up doing, but they're going to end up having to do something spectacular not to win this league. The young Georgian lad, absolute quality, and they got him on a steal as well because he was playing, I think, in Ukraine or Russia before the war, and then he went back. He went back to his home country for one season, and they picked him up on an absolute steal. Amazing story. Fair play to him. I look forward to seeing him in the Premier League next year. He
was at Rubin Kazan, and then he went to Dinamo Tbilisi.
And Victor Osimhen, I also look forward to seeing him in the Premier League next season. Zambo Anguissa, the Fulham lad. Come on, anybody else?
He's been really good.
Really impressed with him.
And
he takes their team over.
And I think Napoli will be a force in the reckon within the Champions League.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with Napoli. They played the Liverpool team that's up and down in the Champions League this season and failed to beat them, didn't they?
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? They made us look stupid in the first game.
Liverpool just fought with like more pride in like the second game.
Yeah,
because we had to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You needed that win more so than for your own thing at that point.
But they're definitely by far the best team in Serie A this season, and I do expect to see a fair few of them players possibly leaving at the end of the season. I don't know.
Although Napoli is trying to hold a tight grip on Osimhen by coming out and saying he's not for sale. Get lost.
They want 140 million because that team on your wall wants everyone they possibly can.
Real Madrid or Man United?
It's a freaking both.
You need to specify, Gormy.
Also, Chelsea have been linked to Osimhen as well.
No, thank you.
Chelsea's linked with everyone.
Exactly. Actually, another player, I'm sure it's for Napoli, isn't it? That's been this season. Kim
Interesting.
That dude came out of nowhere.
Quality.
6'8" or something like that. He's massive. He's massive.
I've noticed a pattern in the last few years with transfers is that nearly every target linked to Chelsea is also linked to United and vice versa. It's happened in the last 3 windows.
So, last game in Serie A, we'll go to Florence. Fiorentina win as Gomez says, baloney 2.
Baloney.
So I'll start with this one. Bologna, I've got a wee soft spot for Bologna because Aaron Hickey played for them last season and the young boy, Lewis Ferguson, is playing for them this year from Aberdeen. So 2 Scottish players.
Yeah, it's almost like you're Scottish. I couldn't tell.
Really? Would never have guessed with this lovely accent of mine. But yes, Bologna 2, Fiorentina 1. Bologna look good. They've got a good young squad there. I think, do they not have Musa Barrow playing for them as well? This ex-Swansea? Yep. Yeah. He's
the one that got away.
He's been around the blocks a few times, but he's
very good performance from Bologna. This,
yeah, dude, their kits. I like their kits.
They're nice.
They were very unfortunate, Bologna, where they thought they scored first, but then they were fortunate to get a pen after that.
Yeah,
just bounce off a handball. They really thought they scored, but the watch said no.
Well, I mean, looking at the league in Serie A, if it fucking populates for me, they're sitting mid-table. They're above Juve. Well, who isn't above Juve right now after the points deduction? But they've got a slight chance. I mean, what they're sitting on 29 points, or well, they're 8 points. 9 points off the European places in Serie A. So big ass.
We gotta put a word in. What's wrong with Fiorentina?
I don't know. Very, very, very.
Lots of things. They suck in FM too. They need to fix them.
But do you know who else is playing for Fiorentina? Josh Schuxey, the ex-Bayern Munich player.
Yeah.
He's up front for them now.
Well, they also got Amrabat and Nico Gonzalez from Stuttgart. Nico Gonzalez is really good for them. He was trying to pull off some pretty crazy things in that game.
Fiorentina
Almost pulled off a bicycle kick.
They're putting a lot of hopes on the Conference League and the Coppa Italia. Fiorentina.
Yeah. Any more on the game between Bologna and Bologna and Fiorentina?
Oh, just Bologna, very good.
I'll pop in as I haven't said nothing on this.
Go for
Sorry.
it.
I just closed my eyes and it was like listening to somebody out of Train Spotting with that gorgeous voice of yours, Chris. I just nearly got lost, you know what I mean? Anyway, back to the football. Florentina, I'm going to go against what all the users said. I actually feel like Florentina was a bit unlucky in this game because they did control quite a lot of possession. I know both teams had a lot of chances.
Yeah.
But I do feel like maybe a draw might have been a fairer result. But fair play to Bologna. They're doing well. They're just outside the European positions at the minute. And Florentina are in a bit of a mess. That's all from me.
They aren't half. I mean, they're only they're 10 points off of the bottom three. So they're kind of.
Do you reckon that could be Fiorentina's problem this season, that they're just unlucky in a lot of these games?
Probably. I would probably say so. I mean, Fiorentina, I've always liked Fiorentina from the Luca Toni days when he was kicking up in the Serie A, and then So we have left Serie A. We're now going to League. We're not going to League straight away. We're going to a game that happened last night in the Coupe de France between Marseille and Paris Saint-Germain. Marseille 2, PSG 1. And sorry, King, we kind of mess your PDF up a little bit. So, so Marseille 2, PSG 1. A goal from a certain former Manchester United and Arsenal player in Alexis Sanchez from the penalty spot. Boom! I'm going to come to you first since he's a former Manchester United player.
I like to forget those days, but you know. But decent result for Marseille. It was a good penalty. He still has that in him.
That's about it.
PSG got back. Ramos gave away the penalty, and then he got his team back into it. So it was an up and down game for Ramos.
And then he tried to take on 7 guys at once.
This typical Ramos stuff. But PSG did not look that good in that game, to be honest.
I mean, you look at their team; they shouldn't be. I mean, no disrespect to Marseille, but they should not be getting beat 2-1 off a Marseille with that team they got on there.
It's very off day.
Messi, Neymar, Verratti.
Messi could not do anything in that game.
He
was trying so hard.
Yeah,
it was a very off day for him. He was trying.
Shall I tell you who they're missing? That young fella Mbappe who can't score penalties or open goals, isn't there?
he's out for. I think he's out for 7 weeks. I think
he's at least missing the first leg against.
I can't believe that. If I'm wrong, shout me out here. But didn't he miss 2 penalties and an open goal and got himself injured in 23 minutes of a game? That is an achievement. No wonder he's on so much money. No wonder.
That's a FIFA achievement right there.
Somebody else would have been able to do that.
I think it's either a FIFA achievement or a Football Manager achievement.
Because that is an achievement.
I always wondered why they put him on.
He got a wee trophy above his head saying achievement unlocked, missing the 2 penalties and an open goal.
And subbed off in the 23rd minute for being injured.
Yeah.
Achievement unlocked. Why do you have a contract?
You're paid too much money. But yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a shock. Would you not agree, Gormy, that Marseille beat PSG 2-1 in the Coupe de France with that team out on the pitch?
I'm not shocked at all. I think PSG is overrated, to be honest. Yeah. I think PSG is very overrated. I mean, there's literally, so the state that I'm in, you can't bet on sports. If I could, I would bet against PSG every single weekend. They don't impress me. That's why I was saying earlier about Bayern Munich beating them. PSG, Marseille, but when you're playing at Orange Velodrome, you are you're in for a game.
Yeah.
So I mean, Marseille, they looked great. Malinovsky's goal, holy crapola, what a goal!
That's a very, very, very good signing for Marseille.
Yeah, I mean, for 13 million,
yeah, for 13 million.
That's a bargain. Yes, he's older, but it's a bargain. I mean, that side, they have the players that are going to do their jobs, and they know what they're supposed to do, game in, game out. So,
I mean,
PSG is another team like Real Madrid that think they can just go out and beat anyone.
Yeah, and this was the first game that they allowed Messi to wear a number 10 shirt.
Yeah, I noticed that Neymar was wearing 11. I think that PSG definitely deserved to lose that game because Marseille just looked better. Messi was trying so hard to get something for them because him and Neymar were doing everything. When Mbappe's out, they got to do everything.
Yeah,
because no one else is going to do anything. And that's what kind of sucks when you got three of the biggest egos in the world on one team. I think that every team that's had LeBron knows about that. But when you have a team of superstars get knocked out in the Coupe de France, it is now anyone's trophy to lift. And that is the one trophy that Messi has not won yet with the leagues that he's played in. Last season they didn't win it because Knots ended up winning it. And Messi also has no chance to win it again this year, which obviously I don't think it's going to affect the man too much because he just won the freaking World Cup. So
did he?
I mean, it's only going to affect the people that don't like Messi because they're going to just keep bringing it up as in the argument.
Yeah. It's all right. His goalkeeper got to act like a freaking Golden Glove was his schlong. So I think they're fine.
That's the Kings number one
on live television too.
Yeah.
What a legend!
I'll just quick.
That's some Birmingham type stuff, right?
Definitely.
One more quick point on PSG regarding about the gift from God, Lionel Messi. Do you think he'll be there next season at PSG?
Yeah, there's no reason for him to leave. It's not like he'll go to freaking Inter Miami or go over and play in freaking Saudi Arabia or whatever. And like Boom was about to say, it's a verbal agreement that he's going to sign a contract extension.
They just need to work out the details.
How long it's going to be because, I mean, they're going to use him. The Saudi Arabia wants to use them for their bid, which is now going to be Saudi Arabia, Greece, and Egypt. So it's all down to whatever Messi wants to do. Messi doesn't really need to prove anything else, but like he said, he wants to play a game for Argentina as a World Cup champion. So he's obviously going to play for another year.
Cool. Well, on that one, so we'll go to Troyes versus Lyon. A much needed victory for Lyon. They're sitting ninth in the league now. Mm-hmm. So much needed victory for them. Gormy, I'll come to you first. What do you think about Lyon then? How do you think their season's progressing? Do you think it's much to be desired, or
consistently inconsistent? Yeah, the definition of it. That's even what the freaking announcer said when I was watching the highlights last night. The inconsistent Lyon. That's what they are this season, and I think bringing back Lacazette and Tolisso is good for them because if they didn't have them, they would probably be much worse off. Yes, those two are world beaters and the players that they used to be. Tolisso still has age on his side, which is good. Lacazette does not. But I mean, you look at it overall, solid win. Anthony Lopez scared the crap out of me on one of the freaking plays that he made because it could have easily been 3-2. But Leon got the result at the end of the day. So, I mean, it was another game, honestly, for me where even though it had 4 goals in it, it felt like the Milan derby. So,
yep.
It was never in doubt because Lyon have the self-proclaimed best defensive center back in the world, Dejan Lovren.
And Jerome Boateng.
And Nicholas Tagliafico as well.
Yeah, and Malo.
A good goal from Lacazette
to Chelsea.
It's a good strike from Lacazette, to be fair too.
Boom. Any more on Leon?
No, just Leon. Like we said, inconsistent. Good goal from Lacazette. Interesting that your player got subbed at one point during that game, Chris. Your
60th
right back, Gusto.
second minute or something like Gusto, yeah. Malo Gusto. King, anything from yourself?
I didn't watch this game, to be honest. So.
I only watched the brief highlights.
I watched him on PSG game, and I didn't get a star in that.
Haler clearly has fallen out of love on the bench.
Was it? They're not going to him go to Villa in January, there wasn't there? Was that used or was that
Moussa
Dembele
for us? It was meant to be coming.
But OR was linked to a few Premier League. Like in the summer, he was linked to Forest.
Haler's contract's up at the end of the season, so he'll go somewhere.
And Dembele's.
Yep, Dembele's out of contract in the summer, which is a bit of a blow for Celtic because we had a 15% buy-on clause on him. But that's going to get expired. So, last game.
He would need to score for someone to trigger it.
Yeah. And this is the last game that Mr. Gourmet wanted in. Reims versus Lorient. So, Mr. Gourmet.
Talk about your favorite manager.
The prodigal son, Will Still. This dude is immaculate. For those who do not know who Will Still is, he was born in Belgium to English parents, was playing, I think it was fourth tier football in Belgium, decided at age 17 he's going to quit because he wasn't going to make it to the pro level and become a coach. He then went and studied, got his qualifications, was coaching at a couple clubs like Beerschot and Standard Liège, and then Reims take a flyer on the guy. And currently, he is their main man at the helm of the side. He does not have his continental coaching license, so they're fined £22,000 per game that he coaches, which they do not care whatsoever because he has not lost a game in 13 games now. He did, however, lose in the Coupe de France yesterday, so that is their first loss, but he has yet to lose in the league. And they drew PSG 1-1, which was a huge result, but they went down early to Lorient, 2-0. And then Reims just said, hold my beer, we're going to steamroll you the rest of the way. And hopefully the young American, Folarin Balogun, he was absolutely unreal. He had a hat trick in that game. Hopefully he declares for the U.S. men's national team because he is a dual citizen between the U.S. and England. So, I mean, Reims, they looked absolutely insane. Tactically speaking, they play 4-2-2, not 4-2-2, 4-4-2. There we go, 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3, and they switch between all three throughout the game very fluidly. They can play it anything at any time, and they actually did all three in that game. So it was very impressive. I mean, Will Still definitely a name to look out for managerial wise once he has his official coaching license. But I mean, that game, if no one saw it, definitely at least catch some highlights. They look really freaking good, and they were having relegation issues. They are definitely safe now.
Yep. Well, I only watched the kind of the brief highlights on YouTube. Reims look good. Lorient, they're a bit safe now. I mean, Reims definitely safe under Will Still. Mm-hmm. But yeah, not got much to say. Anyone else, guys? Reims and Lorient. Well,
I do. I'm with Gormy on this. Will Still, lad. He's really, really good. He learned his stuff apparently from playing Football Manager. That's how he got
yes, he did.
Yeah, he says there's really no difference between football and actual management.
And he's 30 years old. He's 30 years old.
He's only 3 years. He's 3 years younger than me.
And he was at Reims before as well.
Yeah,
we were talking about
was,
this last night, but he was having to travel from Belgium to Reims by car or whatever he was doing it every day, and he got sick and tired of that, so he gave it up. And now they've took him back again, and he is, to be honest, fastly becoming one of the youngest, brightest prospect managers in European football at the minute. And do you know what? I do have to kind of balance the argument because I like to play devil's advocate, especially when Boom's involved in the argument. But they did in their last league game play Auxerre, who are second bottom of the league and hadn't won in, I think, 7 or 8 games and couldn't manage to beat them. They did draw, which obviously isn't a loss, but that fucking let me down on a bet, and I was well pissed off. So I wanted to throw that in there. Anyway.
And you're raging about that, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
And as we go, we kind of cross back over Spain into the next country, which is Portugal. The last game of the night, La Liga Portugal, Sporting 5, Braga 0. Sporting looked good.
They looked really good.
Okay, it's not. I mean,
and
it's
not a high flying first half. The second half is where everything
second half is a lot better. But take nothing away. I mean, Braga, they're not the team they used to be. They've had a lot of players kind of leave them, and they
still got the brothers.
Still got the brothers. I mean, they'll never leave the Horta
Although
brothers.
I'm not sure I agree with the red card.
I can see where the referees.
It was so soft. Both cards were so soft.
I can see where the referee's coming from, but yeah, I agree with these. But Sporting, I mean, was it young centre half? Was it not in? It's not in Nasi. Was it Moriata or something? His name was the centre half number 5 for Sporting. Scored the first goal. He looks good.
2 in this game.
He looks good, and I've seen him in Football Manager a few times, so he is a good player. But Gormy, yourself, what do you think about Sporting Lisbon?
I think they're going to be just fine without Pedro Porro. I think they're going to be just fine. They looked very good. Plus, they got Hector Bellerin. They brought him in to kind of fill that void. But, I mean, overall, they looked really good. Marcus Edwards got a goal. Trincao contributing. Pedro Goncalves getting a goal. I mean, they looked great. It's just that is going to need to transfer to all the other competitions that they're in because, I mean, Portugal has 4 different competitions.
Yeah.
And then obviously they're in the Europa League because they
struggled
they missed out just by a point for the Champions League. They did not struggle very hard. That was the group of death, and they actually did pretty solid, and they only missed out barely.
I mean, in the league, they struggled during that Champions League run. In the league, they were suffering quite a bit. Yeah. Even commentators were saying that at that time.
But yeah, they look great. So hopefully, all that they needed was that break, and they're ready and rearing to go.
I haven't actually seen this game, and the way that Gormy's going on, it sounds like they've turned the corner because they have actually been so underwhelming in the Portuguese league. They're sat in 4th place on 38. Braga's in 3rd on 43. I think Porto's on 45, and Benfica are running away with it on 53. Sporting are meant to be one of the best teams in that league.
They just won the league 2 years ago.
Exactly, and they've got players like Pedro Porro. All right, he's left now. They've got Marcus Edwards. They've got Anaciao. They've got players all over the park. They've got Pedro Goncalves. They should be higher than what they are now, and they have struggled this season.
But they have outscored Braga 10-0 in their past 2 meetings.
And Braga's above them in the table.
Yeah, so...
Now, Braga's actually scored more goals in the league than Sporting as well.
Yeah. I mean, Sporting and Braga will probably fight out for that last year kind of...
I think Sporting will go ahead of Braga because Braga have just lost their golden boy Vitinha up front, haven't they? He's gone to Marseille, is it? I think.
No, he's PSG.
No, that's Vitinha, the midfielder.
Oh, is it?
On about Vitinha, the striker. It was
that other Brazilian Vitinha.
Yeah.
There's too many Vitinhas.
Yeah, there's loads of them, mate. Loads of them.
Vitinha.
But Yes. Anything else? Last one, the Sporting Lisbon game. Anything else? Nope. Perfect. Well, that wraps us up tonight. I just want to say thank you to King, Gormy, and Boom for tonight. If you want to shout out yourself, so Gormy, I'll go with you. Where can we find you?
At Y Gormy on YouTube and on Twitter.
King?
You can find me at FM King 007 on Twitch or FM King on Twitter, or you can now find me as well on Road to Legends, as I'm being a new co-owner of that, and occasionally on here as well, because I don't really want to give this slot up either, so I'll be everywhere.
You find them everywhere. You find them everywhere. We bring about his cage every now and again.
I get about. I do. I get about.
We didn't want to say that, King. Come on, this is me about.
Don't worry, I'm from Birmingham, mate. It's an achievement over
here. Your wee icon above your head. And last but certainly least, my normal calls for the watch-alongs, Mr. Crazy Boom. Where can we find you?
Crazy Boom _ on both Twitter and Twitch, and Boompool on YouTube, and here most times.
And you can find myself, Chris Watt, on here and on Twitter at Chris_Watt89. You'll find me on the Football Nation podcast, as well as our watch-alongs. You've been fantastic tonight. Thank you very much. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out a great bunch. And good night.